Hello, I'm Ashley, the engineer at Andover Norton, and this week's video is about how to get your bike ready for the actual up and coming riding season, depending on what part of the planet you're on. Some of you will leave the bikes in the workshop or garage to overwinter and give them a recommission when they come out the other side of the cold spell, ready for the spring. Now, there are some things on the actual table here. It's not a comprehensive selection of parts, but it just goes to show some of the things that you could be doing. One is put some air in the tyres, check them. Check the tread, check the sidewalls, make sure they're not damaged and they're not bulging in any particular place, and they are actually free of any damage or actual screws or part nails that are in the tyres. On the classic bikes, if you've got a tube, the chances are if you've got something in there, then it's not gone through to the tube. If it's still inflated, it could go through, so it would be wise to either take that out and then see what happens, and if it needs repairing or replacing, get on and do it. Now, if you've got a modern bike, some of the more modern tyres will actually take a small pin or a screw and self-seal now. That's where we're going with some of the modern tyres. Now, the other thing is your oil. Some people I know most probably can't remember the last time they changed their oil, so you can always look at changing the oil, gearbox oil, the engine oil, and any other fluids, your brake fluid if you've got it. Now, we can't ship certain size oil containers, but we can do the smaller ones to certain places. But there are companies out there that do oil, and they will ship it next day. They have the contracts with the carriers and the special packaging needed to do that, so you can consider changing your oils and your filters. Now, moving along the table, you've most probably had niggling oil leaks for some sort of period of time. If you have, get them fixed, get the gaskets. It only takes minutes in most cases to fix some of the leaks. Some of the ones between the crankcase halves or between the barrel and the crankcase are a little bit more involved and involve a lot more work. Now, if you've got brake hoses, always worth pulling this springy coil back and moving the hose. Give it a little bend like that to check you ain't got any cracking in it. Some people will fit a hose and think it'll last forever. They will actually, on some of the hoses, swell on the inside, so when you go to bleed it, you'll end up finding that you can't bleed the brake and you'll be there forever trying to do it, and it normally ends up with a phone call to myself or Simon. When we suggest changing the hose, surprisingly about 8 times out of 10 it actually cures the problem, and then, oh yeah, that actually done it, I can bleed the brake. Check your hoses. Now, the other thing with a Norton Commando is the electrics. Got some little Lucas bullet connectors here. Now, these are actually pretty good. They're simple and reliable. Providing your bullets have been put on well, you're not going to have too much of a problem with these. The actual bullet and the connector tend not to be the problem. It tends to be the back of the actual bullet connector, especially if it's been soldered on, because some of the fluxes will rot out the copper core on the cable at the back of the bullet. So always worth having a check round to make sure your bullets are pretty good and in good condition, making good contact. You need to get them out, give them a bit of a clean. You can get some like electrical type connector grease, put them back together. It must probably cure a lot of the problems you've had on a bike as well, believe it or not. Now, along with electrical is battery. We've had a recent case where the bike was running well last autumn, just got the bike out to run it up, and it's running like a bag of nails. Now, they've tried all the usual stuff, cleaning the carburetors, etc, changing the plugs, but it was sooting plugs badly to the point that when they were sooted up, there was no recovering the plugs. I didn't mention how old's the battery. Oh, well, it's 5 years old. It's most probably the battery. Even a lithium at 5 years old has been left for prolonged periods, and even in the cold weather, if you start it, you need to wake that battery up properly to get it to function. It was then they turned around and told me that when they kept hitting the button for the starter, the Alton starter, it was just clicking. That would suggest to me the battery was most probably the root cause of all their problems once they got the bike started, not the carburetors or the spark plugs. Still waiting to hear how we get on with that one. And the other one is your brake calipers. and your pads. If they're a bit worn or you can't remember the last time you changed them, check them. Now, in the past I found that the pads will pick up a lot of the road crud, especially on the front one. Now, I used to go through the process of taking the front wheel off, take the pads out, clean out inside where the bores for the pistons are, and put it all back together again. I don't bother with that anymore. What I do now is use the squirty can of brake cleaner with a little red hose on it, a little red, just like a very tiny thin wall tube. Get that, squirt that up there, and that tends to get a lot of the crud out of the way. If you do that on a regular basis through the riding season, it keeps them nice and clean. Next one is your lamps. Now, we've got this one here. This is just ordinary H4 headlamp bulb. Some people have LEDs, but again, check they're all working. You don't want to be stuck out on the road to find that you got a light out or it's not functioning as well as it should do. Just like someone, was it back, because I think was it last year, I took one of the bikes out from here. It was nice when I went out, and when I went to come back, I put the headlight on, and trust me, I've seen brighter Zippo lighters than what was in that headlamp shell. It was a slow ride home in the dark. Now, the other one is your cables. Check your cables. If they need replacing, make sure that you replace it with the correct length. If you can measure the outer, that will give you an idea of what you need to replace it with. The cables are normally described by outer cable length. If you've got a clutch cable, a lot of people on a Norton Commando always carry a spare wrapped up under the seat or threaded and following the route of the existing cable, ready to swap over. So if it does snap, they can change it at the roadside. Now, despite all these checks on your bike, it's no good having the best, shiniest bike or the most worked on bike, the ornament that it is, if you're not looking after yourselves. So if you're due to go for any appointments, eye tests, hearing tests, anything else like that, go for them. Don't be frightened, get the test done. Look after yourself. Your bike's only good as the person that's in that saddle. Now, that may sound strange, but sadly, we're all getting older and we've all got bits of the body that are starting to fail. So check yourselves out, get yourself repaired, and enjoy riding your bike for as many years as you possibly can. I think that's the trick in life. Now, if you've got any questions, please feel free to get in touch with myself and Simon here at Andover Norton. Thank you very much.